I used to worry so much what people thought, and now I don't really care that much. And the proof of that is that I'm posting these videos, right? These are public videos. Anyone can see them. I don't really care who sees them. But previously I would have thought like, oh no, like what if my friends see this? Like what if my coworkers see this? What if my parents see this? So how do I get to this point? It's based on 6 different things that I'm going to talk through. Okay, so first we have to understand why we feel this way. Why do we feel like an intense feeling of judgment whenever we're about to do something? And why do we care so much what people think? Well, it comes back to our biology. So human beings evolved through tribes. And if you got kicked out of the tribe, sometimes that meant that you would die because like, you know, you'd have to hunt for yourself, and it's way harder to survive in the wild by yourself. And our brains have not evolved that much since that time. Like we still have the same feelings that we did as when we were in tribes. So it's like we have this like intense feeling because your body is trying to protect yourself from like not getting kicked out of the tribe, because then it could mean that it's like super dangerous for you. But that's not how modern life works. Like how modern life works is more like you have to kind of find your tribe by expressing yourself. And the only way to do that is to get over the fear of rejection, the fear of people's opinions. So once you understand that this is like a biological thing, and it's not something that's specific to you, now we can rationally try and overcome this. So how do we overcome this? Okay, so now what you want to do is you want to make sure that you are, as much as you can, you want to make sure that you're not lying. Because the more you lie, the more you can like cope with your decisions and not really determine like the best version of yourself. Because you have to be really honest with what you want in life, with who you are as a person, because you could lie to yourself, right? You could tell yourself that like, oh, I'm trying to eat healthy, and then eat a whole pack of Oreos and be like, actually that was kind of healthy because it's good to have a sweet treat every once in a while. It's like, no, it was clearly unhealthy, and that's like lying to yourself, right? So it'll impact your decisions to make your life easier for you, which is not necessarily going to be more fulfilling. So you have to be honest with yourself and be like, okay, I shouldn't have ate Oreos. I'm using this example because I did have Oreos for the first time in like so many years. I was like, what am I doing? Anyway, everyone lies. I lie sometimes too, but it's like, at least acknowledge when you're doing it and that it's wrong. And then make sure that you're minimizing how much you do it as much as possible. Okay, so step 1, understand why this is happening. We went through that. Step 2, try not to lie. And then step 3 is to define who you want to be. Because so many people go through life and they don't really think about like who they actually want to be in their life. They just kind of live life aimlessly. And I was doing this previously too. But it's like, if you really sit down and think about like, okay, what kind of person do I want to be? What kind of traits do I want to embody? What kind of skills do I want to have? Then it gives you like a North Star. It gives you something to aim at. And if you're being honest with yourself about your decisions, you'll slowly make progress towards it. It'll be very hard to like just immediately become that. No one ever just like immediately becomes the best version of yourself. It'll be difficult, but you can make progress towards it, and you'll feel so meaningful. If this is like truly who you want to be, there's no better feeling than starting to make progress to becoming the person you want to be, to seeing the life that you actually want. But you have to be honest with yourself, and you have to define it. You have to really think about it. You have to be like, okay, what kind of person do I really want to be? And then what kind of actions would lead me to become that type of person? And chances are it's not necessarily like an easy life that becomes that type of person, right? Bruce Lee has this famous quote where it's like, I don't pray for an easy life. I pray for the strength to endure a difficult life. I'm paraphrasing. I'm not sure if that's the exact quote, but that's like the message of it, right? Is that you pray for the strength to endure a difficult life because you could take that with you anywhere. But in order to do that, in order to have like this meaningful life, you have to determine what is meaningful to you. And you can determine that by defining who you want to be. And that'll also be enough to get you through the difficult times for making videos, for going to the gym, whatever it is that you want to truly pursue. The vision of who you want to be is a North Star. It's something that can guide you past the doubt in yourself, the uncomfortable feelings. And you need that. You need that because if you don't have that, then any uncomfortable feeling can take you off course. You can be like, actually, I don't like how this feels. But if you're like, okay, I'm keeping in mind like who I actually want to be, then you can continue to go on that path of like trying to become that person. So really define who you want to be. Okay, the next step is to cut off negative people. And this one's very hard to do. But like, you just can't have people around who are actively rooting against you. Like, imagine you were trying to run a race and someone was pulling your shirt back. it'd be pretty hard to run the race then, right? Compare that to like if someone was next to you, like cheering you on, like encouraging you to finish the race. It'd be so much easier. But the first step is to cut off the people who are trying to pull your shirt back, who are trying to hold you back from becoming the person you want to be. Don't actively keep them in your life. Don't like consistently talk to them. You just have to like kind of let those friendships go. And before I started making content, and this was also before when I wanted to do stand-up comedy, but also before doing content, I just looked at like all of my friends and I was like, are these people genuinely supporting me? And for a lot of them, they are. A lot of them I felt like, yeah, they are genuinely supporting me. But for some of them, I was like, I don't know if they're genuinely supporting me. So I just decided to stop talking to them. And yeah, that's a harsh thing to do. But it's like you can't keep people around who aren't rooting for you. It's so hard to accomplish anything in life. Try doing that with so many people holding you back. It becomes infinitely harder. So really, you have to really consider like who you're talking to in terms of like keeping people around. And of course, there's family members and stuff like this that you always have to like keep in your life. But you have to just make sure it's not impacting you. And it's like you don't want to have consistent negative voices in your head when you're trying to accomplish something, when you're trying to like become someone that you want to be, that is different to you, right? Because it's going to be someone who's different than who you are currently. It'll be some changes because there's no perfect person. So if there's no perfect person, that means there's always a goal. There's always a type of person that you'd want to be. And there's always work that involves becoming that type of person or making steps to become that type of person. Okay, step 5 is to be comfortable following your goals rather than your feelings. Because in a lot of situations, you'll feel uncomfortable. You'll feel like, oh no, I shouldn't have posted the video. Everyone's judging me, all these things, right? But you have to be able to follow your goals because like feeling uncomfortable is part of the process of changing as a person. Like you've had certain habits and behaviors that you've developed over time, but if you've been honest with yourself and said, no, the person I want to be is someone who, let's say, makes YouTube videos, then you have an obligation to yourself to be like, okay, I have to follow this. And part of following that will make you uncomfortable because, like I said, you've developed habits and behaviors that are not necessarily aligned with that person you wanted to be because you hadn't defined it previously before. But how your feelings will be based on your past behavior. Like you won't automatically feel like, oh man, I'm going to be this amazing YouTuber. No, it's going to take time and work and defining that to yourself by your actions. And the way to do that, if we're being a YouTuber, is by posting videos. And of course you'll feel uncomfortable. It's like the first time that you're doing this. And that's not just for posting videos. It's like whatever you want to be in life. It's like when you first get started, you'll feel uncomfortable because you're new to it. So it's not imposter syndrome. It's taking steps to becoming the person that you want to be. So of course it's going to feel uncomfortable to you because it's the first time that you're doing this, but you have to be comfortable feeling uncomfortable because that's part of the process. And you just got to act despite your feelings. Okay, the next step is to focus on what you can control because so many things are going to be outside of our control, right? Like let's say you want to be a YouTuber. How many views you get is not fully in your control, but there are certain aspects of it that you can control. Like you can control your ability to speak on camera, your ability to script out talking points that you want to hit, your ability to post consistently. Like these are things that are in your control, right? And if you focus on those things, then you increase the chances of you getting the actual outputs that you want. But if you're constantly thinking like, oh man, like this video only got like 50 views when I thought it would get 10,000. It's like, that's not a good way to look at it because you're playing the game the wrong way. You're playing Monopoly and instead of like, you know, rolling the dice and playing the actual game, you're trying to think like, oh, I should just land on free parking and get all the money. That's not how it works. And I'm not using Monopoly because it's only money based. What I'm saying is like, that's just not how the game works. How the game works is you focus on the inputs and of course luck is going to be a factor. But if you give yourself the best opportunity to be lucky, that's the best way to play the game. And the way to give yourself the best opportunity oh my God, I can't speak right now. I'm a little bit sick. The way to give yourself the best opportunity to get lucky is by focusing on what you can control, focusing on the inputs. All right. I hope this video is helpful. And listen, I'm not saying that overcoming people's opinions, I'm not saying it's easy. It'll take time, it'll take effort, but I know you can do it. Life's not easy, but it's worth it. Take care.